The Lock and Loaded update is finally here, and it's introducing brand new systems, lots of changes, several bug fixes, and some new issues as well. Let me show you 10 things Bethesda didn't tell you about patch 26. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. It's time to start with the patch overview videos. We waited almost 3 straight months without a single update. Yeah, it has been that long. Update 25 went live on January 26, but now Lock and Loaded is here with lots of new features, including the special loadouts, previously known as Perk loadouts. We are also getting the camp slot system, as well as the first expansion for daily ops, together with armor display cases, a new season board filled with new rewards, and so much more. Now, if you took a break or you're new to all of this, I highly recommend you to watch my other video here featuring 12 main new things, or simply browse my latest videos. I have been doing feature overviews on almost every new system and feature in the past weeks. So feel free to inform yourself as much as you would like. As for this video, I'm going to show you 10 things Bethesda hasn't really talked about or added to their patch notes. This includes new issues, broken features, and surprise fixes. Alright then, let's get started, shall we? One of the most important major changes with Update 26 is the melee hit bug fix, which basically fixed the entire melee system. On the public test server, there was no such notice on the patch notes ever, and I'm assuming they will write a subtle note on the official notes if they do at all. However, this change shouldn't be taken lightly. I mean, we are talking about an entire combat system and playstyle. Anyway, for a very long time we had this persistent bug where melee hits didn't register for whatever reason. You could see the supposed damage numbers, but the targets would not receive it. This bug could get so bad that sometimes you would miss dozens and dozens of hits per enemy. Just look at this dreadful attempt to kill a Nightbot. A Nightbot, guys. How ridiculous is that? It took me over a minute to take it down. Crazy stuff. Anyway, with patch 26, this bug is gone. Finally, it was about time, and you no longer miss as long as you do an effective hit, as long as you can see damage numbers. Of course, missing is still a thing. For example, if you are not close enough to the target, then you will miss your hit attempts. But other than that, things are running really smoothly. I really didn't miss any effective hits all these past weeks, as far as I remember, and that's a beautiful thing. It felt really refreshing and game-changing. If you wish to learn more about this bug fix or check more hit comparisons between patches, feel free to check my feature overview. The link is up there. Another change Bethesda hasn't talked about is the fact that the Dodgy perk is not working as it used to. Don't worry, it's not broken, not yet at least. It still works. It still absorbs damage at the cost of stamina, but with Update 26, the perk alert on the left side of your screen is not working anymore. For example, my Ricochet and Serendipity are triggering their alerts correctly as shown in the footage, but my Dodgy alert is nowhere to be seen. It stopped working completely, but as I said before, it doesn't mean the perk is broken. I decided to test several times and Dodgy is working in the background with no alerts. As you can see, my stamina bar is going down while I'm not consuming it, which means part of the dealt damage from enemy hits is being traded for stamina points as intended by this perk. I know this can be confusing and make people think the perk is no longer working because, you know, they don't see any alerts, but that's not the case, thankfully. It's just the perk alerts are no longer triggering. It's more like a visual bug than anything else. So don't worry, enjoy your Dodgy instead, and let's move on. Next, we have some bad news about the friendly fire perk. A while ago, there was a major bug on the public test server where lots of perks and gear with hit effects stopped working, such as Furious and Vampire weapons, and even the Strangler heart effect, the Thorn and Solar as well. But after a few patches, things got resolved, well, for the most part at least. Weapons seem to be working fine again, but some issues remain the same. The friendly fire perk, for example, is one of them. You can still heal other players with fire weapons as long as they are part of your team. That part is working as usual. But when you try to heal friendly NPCs, well, that's another story. Bethesda managed to break this perk in this regard really badly. No matter what fire weapon you choose, it just doesn't work anymore on NPCs. It's not possible to heal known player targets anymore with update 26, and that's really bad because some events are quite dependent on friendly fire. Healing NPCs can always ensure you unlock the best reward tiers for certain events like Radiation Rumble or even Fastnacht when it's live. I'm not sure what the problem is right now, but let's all hope they come up with a fix with the upcoming update. Talking about broken stuff, I've got some more terrible news to share. If you use a Strangler Heart power armor set, then you should be aware that the set effect is also not working properly. Just like friendly fire, the effect works against players. Nearby enemy targets suffer from acid damage and melee hits with also a bonus acid damage from the effect. However, it doesn't always work. While testing, I sometimes found myself not taking damage anymore, despite the green cloud being always active on me, just like this. I also noticed that the effects don't seem to stack, and here I engaged into PvP with two characters wearing a full set of Strangler Heart, and the acid damage was still just from one set alone. I even played around with the player range to ensure I was only in range of one player and then of two, but it didn't make a difference in terms of received acid damage. Well, we're not starting in very good terms, are we? Things are already quite buggy, but hold on, it gets way worse. When I moved to NPCs, I noticed that the green cloud, the effect animation was activating just fine, but it's a trick, because if you take a closer look, the enemies are not taking any damage by being close to me or even by hitting me. I tested against several enemies, I even stood still near a mega slot for minutes, and nope, my Strangler Heart set does absolutely no area of effect damage as it's supposed to. It's totally broken, and that's why you don't get experience when you try to help other players using this effect alone, because it's not doing any damage, guys, despite the animation triggering all the time. With this result in mind, I decided to go ahead and test a Thorn set, thanks to Madoc Rod for helping me out here. I thought the Thorn armor would be broken as well, since the effect logic is very similar to the Strangler Hearts, but that's not the case. At least some great news, huh? I can confirm the solar armor effect is working properly as Thorn, but, well, Thorn is working very well as shown. It's applying bleed to melee attackers, killing them fairly easily, and player melee attacks seem to apply the bleed bonus as well. I guess the following months will be quite dreadful for Strangler Heart power armor users, because half of this set's value is now gone. Worse, most players will think it still works as usual because they see the cloud effect and assume the damage is also there, when in reality it's not. So unless they see videos like this one where I test things and explain what's going on, they will probably not notice it's not working at all. Well, this is another major issue Bethesda has to fix at some point. Let's hope sooner rather than later. Well, Bethesda has announced Mannequins several times by now. They are part of the Season 4 Cold Steel rewards, and there's plenty of official information around already. However, what they didn't tell us is that Mannequins are not exactly display cases, even if they are labeled as such in-game. No. They are actual NPCs, everyone, according to the game files. You can interact with them to equip basically any armor or apparel you want, just like you can do with any ally at your camp. Moreover, there are a few other details I feel like Bethesda should have shared with us, such as Mannequins being invincible. They cannot take any damage, and they are pretty much immune to any condition effect in-game, such as bleed, frenzy, paralysis, and so many others. I tried to kill them using flamers, but all I managed was to kill myself instead. There is no way to destroy these mannequins, again because they are labeled as essential and invulnerable NPCs. They are also set to the ghost status, which means they don't occupy a physical form in the world. As a result, players can go through them and blend in just perfectly. Anyway, another proof that mannequins are indeed alive is the fact that they glow pink whenever you consume a berry mentat. This chem highlights living targets, so why else would mannequins glow pink if they weren't alive? Are they synths? Are they spies? Are they some new race? Probably not. I mean, in Skyrim we had such system where mannequins were also NPCs. They were alive and sometimes they could animate and even walk like normal NPCs. Creepy. Actually, I've seen a few reports that this can happen in 76 as well. There is a rare bug where mannequins can supposedly get out of their original placement. So if you end up finding your mannequins in a different place other than the one you last put them, don't worry, it's definitely not you. You're not going crazy. It's most likely the after effects of this rare bug, just to make things clear. So yeah, for the sake of our sanity, I really think Bethesda should have informed us more about mannequins and the fact that they are actual NPCs pretending to be display cases. Well, thanks God we have data mining tools to find out the truth, huh? In the past days, some of you guys asked me if camp slots can be placed on the same exact location, and the answer is absolutely yes. By the way, ignore my armor display case testing here, that's not relevant for this point. If you love a certain location to the bottom of your heart, then fear not, you will be able to place all your camp slots there at the same exact spot. This might sound strange at first, but it makes sense. After all, you can only have one active camp at a time, so for the system, having multiple camp slots at the same location works like any other offline player who built their camp where you have yours. It's no different, really. It's just with camp slots, you can easily switch between camp creations instead of being asked if you want to search for a new server where your camp can be placed, or if you want to stay without a spawn camp. Keep in mind that spawning camp slots has a short cooldown, which is about 30 seconds, but besides that, there is no limitation to place your camp slots and build at the same exact location. Alright, something else I discovered yesterday was the fact that the new camp slot interface can display the amount of player visitors at your camp. That's right, something else Bethesda should probably tell players because it's quite hidden and confusing. At first, I was not sure what these small Vault Boy icons meant. I was really confused, but then I realized I had two icons there, and by chance, or not, two other players besides me were at my camp at that current time. That's when I decided to move my alt character away, and voila! The two icons suddenly became only one, so that's what it means. Each Vault Boy icon indicates that a player is at your camp. However, things are not very straightforward, and maybe they are buggy even, since it doesn't always display icons when players are at your camp. Probably because there are distance rules. Also, if players are in stealth, it doesn't seem to count. And yeah, overall this small feature is not very reliable or accurate, that's what I'm trying to say. The next point is something I've talked about in one of my recent overviews while showing 20 new free items being added with patch 26. Now, Bethesda is adding a new armor set to the daily ops rewards. It's called the Covert Scout Armor, and it's a slightly superior Scout Armor version. It's far from being a competitive one though. I mean, we have far better armor sets in game, starting by the Secret Service or even the Brotherhood Recon. Even the Torn and Solar armor sets provide more value since they come with set effects, but the Covert Scout only gives you improved stealth in dark areas, whatever that means exactly, and slightly better defense stats than the regular Scout armor, which are still inferior while compared to the most popular armors these days. It's really nothing special. Here's a side-by-side comparison of right arm armor, Covert versus Recon, and as you can see, the defense difference is quite substantial. Now, with better armors out there, why would players even bother farming for this new armor set with no added value at all? It's counter-logical, isn't it? I mean, if you want to go full stealth, then Chameleon is probably your best choice. Not this dark area stealth effect, I don't think so. Plus, this is a Scout armor set, which means you cannot attach or access a jetpack. So yeah, so much about the new daily ops rewards and the new armor set. It looks great, but I think defense is more important than looks. I have no idea why would Bethesda add such a weak set at this point in time, but hey, maybe that's just my opinion. But for this one, I totally understand why they haven't shared any details because, honestly speaking, it would just upset and disappoint people even further, in general of course. What do you think though? What do you think about this new armor? Let me know in the comments. Moving forward, I was really surprised to learn that Bethesda finally fixed one of the most popular exploits in-game, where players could use power armor to go through walls, roofs, floors, and so on. Obviously, this exploit would allow players to access areas they shouldn't be able to visit, or to simply create shortcuts in certain areas like cellar runs. That's why some players could launch nukes in just a couple of minutes, because they could just skip everything and go through the walls straight into the launching room. I did test this exploit and I can confirm it's now fixed. I'm sorry I do not have footage because I forgot to test it again yesterday while I was recording what I was missing for this video. But basically the fix Bethesda came up with was to change the way power armor works when it gets stuck. Until update 25, players would be placed where the power armor would supposedly be by the time it gets unstuck in the system, and now it's set to reverse. The power armor will be placed where the player was initially when they entered the power armor. I hope that makes sense. It's like the power armor will go to the player if you attempt to block your entering with any other items in between you and the power armor. Anyway, this huge exploit is finally fixed, but many others remain active, including alternative silo exploits. Lastly, I decided to find out if Bethesda fixed the explosive bait glitch or not. A few days ago, I read this interesting post, which is basically my opinion in a nutshell. Explosive bait serves mostly one purpose right now. It's griefers' main tool to annoy people and destroy their camps. As such, it should be removed or disabled from the game. It has been requested endless times, but so far no response from Bethesda. This exploit can also fail Fastnar when it's live and well destroy some other friendly NPCs. Anyway, me and Maddock Rod here decided to try it out on my camp. We are such exploit experts that we couldn't figure it out how to do it on our own. It's one of those times I'm happy to say proud to be bad. We ended up watching a video on how to do it, and eventually we managed to do it properly, and we also managed to kill ourselves in the process. We blew away far into the swamp. But anyhow, we triggered the explosive bait, and yeah, it's totally not fixed. Some of my camp items were damaged or even destroyed, which proves the glitch is still live and running. Hey, at least the next time griefers destroy my camp, my mannequins will be there to tell the story. They will be the last man standing, proud and loud. As per usual, with every new patch, there are dozens of notes, but there are also many changes or new bugs Bethesda leaves behind or refuses to address for one reason or the other. Now, I know there are many more things not part of the patch notes, in which I haven't addressed here, but these are the top 10 things Bethesda didn't tell you about Update 26 in my view. Do you agree? Did I miss something big? Feel free to share below. Well then, that's it for this patch overview. I hope I could keep you informed. If that's the case, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet, to make sure you don't miss anything. Also, if you would like to support my content even further, you can become an enough survivor. Check the links below the video to become one. Alright, now it's time to wrap things up. I am Marta Branco, thanks for watching, and I will see you all very soon in the next one. Until then, take care, adios, bye bye!